A very good morning to you all. These videos are, as most of you know, recorded in advance. So this will be going out into the airwaves, onto the airwaves, on the Tuesday after bank holiday. So as sprightly as I look today, there is an incredibly good chance that I am rough when this goes live. So on that note, I hope you all had a fantastic bank holiday, and I hope we got the weather that we're forecast to have. So we will wait and see. It's a bit like Back to the Future. So today I was going to do what might become a new weekly slot where I pick out some of the feedback that I've received and just talk about the comments on an episode, because it went down really, really well last week with Sam and he's meditating in the toilet, and Dan writing his nursery rhymes. But on Friday last week, I aired the episode all about trying your best to enjoy the journey on your way to whatever destination you have in mind. And that video is of paramount importance. And I think that whole life's not a race to be won, but a dance to be danced is one of the most interesting points and one of the most important reminders in any of these videos. Because if you don't get that right, you're probably not going to be very happy. You're probably not going to be very fulfilled. So today, I just want to expand on it ever so slightly. I don't think there's any need to go on about it, but the reality of it is I have kind of stumbled across something which I wish maybe I'd mentioned last week when I was talking about that concept. And it's all linked to me now going on a daily morning walk. And the reason it's linked to that walk is because I think the similarities between a long walk and this dance that needs to be danced, which is life, are staggering, to be honest. Now, these videos are all off the cuff, they're never scripted, and I'm just going to try and pick out some of the points which have really been popping into my mind during these walks. So this is a really hopefully good illustration of what I think you need to do to improve your chances of enjoying your journey. So my relationship with walking is a relatively new one. As most of you know, before the lockdown, before the gyms were shut, I was a daily visitor to my local gym, and that was my form of exercise. And I didn't really ever have any inclination or desire to go on these walks. We don't have a dog. Eva doesn't particularly like walking. Anna isn't particularly sporty, and I'm not particularly kind of, sightseer, kind of cultural. So it was never going to be a family of hikers in this particular household. But when we got locked down and I stopped going to the gym, I did probably what everybody did, and I had a bit of a honeymoon period where I was a bit shocked by what was going on, and I was eating junk and I was drinking all the time. And then I started to realise I started to feel a bit lethargic, a bit tired. And the only thing I can really do, because I haven't got any gym equipment at home, is go for walks. Now, there's going for walks and there's going for walks. And I started off by just effectively walking a little small loop around where we live. It's quite rural around here, so a little small loop probably took me about 20 minutes, and I was almost ticking a box. And I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I noticed on my way back I started to get stitch, which for a fit guy was a bit of a shock to the system. So on that day, I decided I needed to ramp it up and I needed to turn this walk into a form of exercise. And what I did, because I have got quite dodgy knees, I built up slowly to today, which is Thursday of last week. Hope you're keeping up with this. I did like 6.5 kilometers and it took me about an hour. So it's a good pace. I'm walking around, I'm enjoying it, happy days. And the whole emphasis was to turn that daily walk into a form of exercise. Now, the really interesting thing about that is when you've got your fitness and your health in mind and you are walking, you kind of switch between wanting to walk at a really good pace and wanting to enjoy the walk. And what I've noticed is, because walking is something that we do on autopilot, probably very, very similar to our day jobs, our lives, what we do for a living, how we go about our business, how we act when we get home, how we act when we're at the weekend or with our family or life, etc., etc., etc. It becomes so natural, a bit like walking, that it's very, very easy to just go into autopilot. And what I've noticed on these walks, that if I want to enjoy the scenery, if I want to take in the fresh air, if I want to focus on the long pavement ahead and enjoy the fact that the weather's beautiful and I'm grateful to live where I live and there's nice sights to see. If I want to do all those things don't just happen because I'm on my walk. I've got to consciously make an effort to recognize those things. And this, I think, is the trick. When you are going about your daily business, just because you've decided, or just because maybe you've taken note, or just because you already know that you've got to enjoy the journey, you've got to enjoy the day-to-day, you've got to make it pleasurable. You're trying to build that passion. Just because you know those things, it doesn't mean the next day is going to be an enjoyable one. You have got to make an effort to make it enjoyable. And it is like anything in life. The more effort you put in to make your day-to-day enjoyable, the easier it's going to become to enjoy it. And the similarities with the walking and the game of life that we all play, that they go on and on and on. Like I was walking on a particular really long stretch of road and I could see the corner, and almost that corner was my goal. And I walked and I had a really good pace. I got to the corner, I turned, and then there was a stretch of road twice as long. And that, reflected to me all the different directions you've got to turn in. The end destination is always getting back home. So just because I'm enjoying my walk, all the time I'm trying to get back home. And that, for me, almost reflected that visualization of where you want to go in life. I've got to plan where I'm going. I can't just leave the door and walk aimlessly because fuck knows where I'm going to end up. So you've got to have a plan where you're going, and planning this journey that you're on is of utmost importance. I walk with my headphones in, with, pretty banging techno on at R5 in the morning. And I do that because that is what makes that experience enjoyable for me. So you gotta add things to your day that are gonna help you enjoy them. And the list probably goes on and on and on and on and on, and I'm going to think about it some more, and I might pop back in and talk some more about it. But I thought that was really, really quite poignant, to maybe a non-business example or like an illustration of how to enjoy something, you've got to subconsciously make an effort to do so. So we will catch up tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed today.